Good evening, and I want to share with you tonight again about the subject of the rapture. And tonight we're going to talk about the New Jerusalem, the place that our Messiah has said he was going to prepare a place for us, and he was going to come back to receive us unto himself, that where he was, there we would be also. I've mentioned to you in our past sessions that the home of the church, and of course again the church is the born-again Jew and Gentile believers who are separate, have a separate destiny from Israel or Yasharel, and they also are different from the people that will be saved during the tribulation. Our destiny as far as the church is the New Jerusalem that the Messiah Yahusha is preparing for us. Now, we're going to read some scriptures. I want to read, first of all, from my notes here. And it talks about in my notes, it says, in the millennium, that's the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah, which will take place at the second coming. And by that time, over half the population of the world would have perished during these 21 judgments that are going to come upon the earth. The unbelievers will be taken off the earth and cast into hell at that time. This is you'll find, of course, this is an illustration of the wheat and the tares parable that the Messiah spoke about. And those that have been saved during the tribulation, whether they be Jew or Gentile, will be allowed to enter into the millennial reign of the Messiah. They will enter in their natural bodies. They will not experience their resurrection at that time. Only those that died in the Tanakh or the Old Testament at that time are resurrected at the second coming of the Messiah, plus those that were beheaded for the witness of the Messiah during the tribulation. They also will be resurrected at that time. But the resurrection of the righteous church will happen at the rapture before the tribulation period or Daniel's 70th week begins, and we've given a number of reasons why that is proven throughout the scriptures that will take place. Of course, the main one that I keep emphasizing is that we have not been appointed to Yahuwah's wrath, the church, because we've already been justified by our faith in the Messiah, and so Yahuwah sees us as righteous as he is, and so that we will not have to face the judgment that's coming upon this earth. Now, as I'm reading here in my notes, it says the earth will be repopulated by during the Great Tribulation. You have to understand that people with resurrected bodies will not be able to repopulate the earth. It's only those in their natural bodies, and these are people, whether they be Jew or Gentiles, will be able to bear children during this time frame. The Jewish believers will live in Israel or Yasharel, and the Gentiles will live in the rest part of the earth. Yahuwah will be omnipresent, will dwell both in the New Jerusalem and on earth. This is so good. So as to be with all his children. People from earth will bring their splendor into the New Jerusalem, but they can never enter therein. And the scripture makes that plain in the book of Revelation, if you read that only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life will be allowed to enter into that city. And in the millennium, Israel or Yasharel will live in the promised land and fulfill the promises from the Old Testament or Tanakh about their kingdom age, such as Isaiah 65 verses 17 through 25. If you take the time to read it, look that up later and read it. Isaiah 65 verses 17 through 25 talks about the time frame in the millennium for the Jewish people. The church will dwell in the New Jerusalem, incorrectly called heaven by some, but it's actually the city is called the New Jerusalem. The rest of the world will be populated by Gentiles who became believers after the rapture and survived the tribulation. Since they are taken live into the millennium, they'll bear children during this 1,000-year reign. It's the offspring of these children who will rebel at the end of the millennial reign. Now, not all of them, but this is where this rebellion will be allowed to take place during the end of the millennium. If you remember that the enemy, Satan, is loosed out of his prison for one last time, who will tempt these people to rebel against the Messiah. And of course, when that happens, fire will come down from heaven from Yahuwah and destroy them. And then we'll enter into eternity. And we don't really know too much about how eternity is going to be. But this is just to paint a picture of the future destiny of the church, and for those who are saved during the tribulation, what they might expect as far as what we know the Scripture has to reveal. We can only speculate what eternity will actually be like, but we do know that the church our home is in the New Jerusalem, and we will live there with the Messiah. Of course, like I just read, he's omnipresent. He'll be at both places. He'll be in the city of the New Jerusalem, and it says that city will not have no need of the sun and moon, for the Messiah, Mashiach himself, will be the light thereof. And I also believe that this city will not dwell on the earth. It may hover over the earth as maybe like a satellite planet or something, but it's quite evident it's too big to be on the earth. This city is. So, just giving you some things to look forward to be encouraged by. And we'll pick up on our next session, again, talking about our destiny and understanding the difference between different groups of people have different destinies. Israel was never promised the rapture. They were promised a kingdom that would reign on the earth forever. Now, Jew can be part of the rapture if they put their faith in the Messiah, before it happens. And of course, then they no longer are considered to be a Jew necessarily. They are part of the church. They are, as Paul wrote about, that there's neither Jew nor Gentiles, but we're all one in Messiah. And he's, of course, talking about the church itself. Well, thank you again, and look forward to our next session. And until then, shalom.